We join with other UUs in the tradition of inviting the gong 3 times. Once in remembrance of those who have lived, built, and nurtured this congregation before us. Once with appreciation for all of us calling this home today. And once with anticipation and hope for those who will be part of this congregation in the future. Good morning. It's February 8th, 2026. My name is Kathy Mitchell, and Jennifer Call and I are your service leaders for today. We want to welcome everyone joining us online and in person to the Umpqua Unitarian Universalist congregation. Here you can be yourself, but not by yourself. Whomever you love, however you describe yourself or name the holy, you are welcome here. We especially welcome those of you who are visiting for the first time and those recently new to us and returning again. We're so glad that you're here with us today. If there's someone visiting for the first time or returning after a while, we'd love to have you introduce yourself, although you don't have to if you don't want to. Okay. Everyone, please stay for coffee, tea, and conversation after the service so we can all get to know one another better. We begin our service with the acknowledgement that our congregation rests on the unceded lands of indigenous people, including the Cow Creek Band of the Umpqua tribe. Their name graces our congregation and the river that flows through this land. We make this land acknowledgement in recognition of the Cow Creek Umpqua, the Unkalakalapuya, the Southern Malala, and other tribes that have been forcibly displaced, yet who continue to live, lead, create, and belong here. May this acknowledgement move us toward repair, relationship, and right action. We are Unitarian Universalists. We are diverse in faith. We think for ourselves and honor how life experience shapes our beliefs. We are Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, humanist, Jewish, Muslim, pagan, atheist, agnostic, and those who weave together more than one path. We come from radical roots and a long history of people who sought a faith grounded in freedom, reason, and love. Unitarian Universalism is its own faith tradition. We are united, not because we all believe the same thing, but because we share a commitment to seek truth, practice compassion, and to build a more just and loving world. Our practices differ, our languages for the holy differ, but the tradition we share is real. A faith shaped by history, covenant, by conscience, and by community. Announcements. After the service today, there will be a board meeting beginning at 12:30, and I believe we have at least one other announcement.
Hi. Today is the last day of the bake sale, and I've promised the board that we'd get out of their way. So if you want something to eat, swoop in, get it, and leave out. So I've kept my word. If it's round, it's gluten-free. If it's square, except the cupcakes. The cupcakes are not gluten-free. I'm sorry. Last week, somebody had a gluten-free cinnamon roll, and he said, that was really good. And I said, yeah, and it was gluten-free. And he said, oh, I'm so glad you didn't tell me beforehand. Because it was really good. And there's a soccer tort back there. It's not all cut up, but part of it is. And the slices are small, but it's so sweet, you will not want more than a little bit, I don't think. So swoop in, get it, get out of the way. Thanks.
Any other announcements? Additional announcements are in your order of service along with upcoming events. Much appreciation goes to our staff, our greeter, John Asham, thank you, John, and our church administrator, Genevieve Gonzalez, and Jake Tranter on media. In our community today, there are many children and adults, housed and unhoused, facing illness, hunger, and without shelter. Acting in compassion for those in need, our service to the larger community is to collect your donations of food and money for the Fish Food Pantry. Our church offering will be later in the service. Your contributions are greatly appreciated and will definitely be put to good use in the community.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Eli Poor, and it's my honor and privilege to serve as your contract minister this year. Before we light our chalice this morning, I want to offer a brief word about its history. The flaming chalice became a symbol of the Unitarian Universalist Association during World War II, when it was used by the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee to mark safe houses and aid networks helping refugees escape Nazi persecution. It was a sign of sanctuary, resistance, and care in dangerous times, a signal that help and hope could be found. So when we light it today, I hope that we remember our faith was shaped by acts of courage, protection, and solidarity, and they continue to be. The flame reminds us who we have been and who we are called to be. We light this chalice to remember that none of us is meant to face the world alone. This flame calls us back into community, to the daily work of noticing one another, of practicing care, of choosing connection over and over again. May it remind us that love becomes real when it's shared and sustained together. And now, if you could rise, let's read our affirmation, followed by our opening hymn. Words for our affirmation will be in your order of service and projected behind me. We come together to renew our spirits, to open our hearts, to remember the strength we find in community, and to shape a more just and loving world together. And our opening hymn is hymn number 1, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door.
May nothing evil cross this door, and may your fortune never pry about these windows. May the roar and rain go by. By faith made strong, the rafters will withstand the battering of the storm. This heart, though all the world grow chill, will keep you warm. Peace shall walk softly through these rooms, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner blooms into a walls are thin, may they be strong to keep hate out and hold love in.
We now take a moment to hold what we're carrying into this day, the joys that have found us, the worries, griefs, and longings that travel with us too. If you'd like to light a candle, please form a line to the left. When you share, please say your name, and please keep your words brief so that everyone has space and time in this circle of care.
This is a rainy day. Look at us. So I'm going to work my way over and get a candle. It's actually for all of you who are making this.
And I'm going to light a final candle for those who kept their
We are supported by this community's gifts of time, talent, and treasure. Your support is what fuels our congregation's mission and keeps the flame of justice, community, and love burning brightly. If you are a visitor, please be our guest and let the basket pass you by. What is given now is received in appreciation of the support of our shared hopes and values. For the gifts we have received, may we be truly grateful. May we be committed to using these gifts to make a difference in the world and to expand our beloved community. And now we will sing our response from You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share.
pleasure that I introduce today's speaker, our pastor, Elias Oakpour. They are a Unitarian Universalist minister on the path to fellowship and a doctoral student at Pacific School of Religion. A multi-religious Unitarian Universalist since their teenage years, their work, grounded in lived experience of incarceration and houselessness, weaves liberative theology, harm reduction, and mutual aid in service of collective healing. They serve as our contract minister for the 2025 to 2026 church year.
So we have a poem this morning that I wanted to share with you all. And following this poem, we'll do a little meditation, take maybe a minute just to settle and breathe. I invite you to do that now if you'd like. Just settle into ourselves, take a breath. This is a powerful poem. It is from the poet Junauda Petrus, who is the poet laureate of Minneapolis. I was privileged to be able to witness this, to hear this in person for the clergy call that we attended on the Thursday before the Day of Action on Friday. It says a lot. It's heavy. It's about 5 minutes. So let's take a moment and watch this together. Junauda Petrus with her untitled poem.
Here's my poem. It's not titled yet. If it was up to them, their world would have no mamas, just mother wound, no dreams, just nightmares, no poetry, just profit, no passion, just power, no water, just drink the ache. Just exist, small, just wait until heaven, just be grateful. This plantation is your paradise, just be grateful. Every day feels like a 3-card Monte with the soul of the universe. Is it too much to ask to come to this planet and expect softness and stillness? To have a life centered around mundane, to move on divine timing and sensual clarity? Can't sleep because you're wondering if they will snatch you in the street, on the way to the job, to your child's school. You can't sleep, you're wondering who is getting snatched in the night. Mothers have to trust the softest parts of their hearts in the coldest and hardest world. Sometimes the way to tend to that existential dread is to be soft places for other mothers' children. Queer people are magical at making mothers from everything, making temples of love in the heavy void. You know there's monsters everywhere. You trust that angels are everywhere too. You snuggle your child extra tight for all of those who can't hold their sweet babies in their arms. Mothers hand their babies off to other women to drive their kids to school so that when their kids return, home will be home. People are hiding in their houses, afraid for their face to see the sun, afraid that their brown and their darkness make them seen and targeted and hunted. In this country, you get paid 3 times as much to take children away from their parents than you get to teach them how to read. And this is not a new wound. This is an old and well-recycled wound. Those that were hunting and those that were hiding and scared, and so many who resisted. Black women in shackles comforting other people's children from their bodies. Native children in boarding schools, mouths forced into white man shapes, whisper and dream their true tongues. At Stillwater Prison, in a classroom of black and brown and white men, Muslim, Christian, witchy men, brothers, comrades, a coven behind walls. I asked them what's a mystical creature they would be. My student, who was born in another land but now lives behind the bars of this country, says hummingbird. Flickering electric blue wing, he held out his hand to show how small, simple, and harmless their needs are. Whenever I see or think of a hummingbird, I know it is my Grandma Pearl visiting me, talking to me in flutters and soft giggles, Florida water, royal blue 7-day candles, in calypso, stewed canned salmon with onions, garlic, tomato and thyme, swift hands. She don't speak American to me. She speaks to me Trini and languid. She speaks to me about other worlds, lands, and feelings, and how she travels everywhere now, how she belongs to the universe. Southside is the universe. Southside kids can have mullets, hijabs, beads, and fades. Southside kids can have parents who pray to every kind of divine understanding. Southside kids dance to old school music and under the wings of majestic puppets, and the sound of their footsteps shudder the asphalt beneath them. And under the cement and gravel and earth is wound, is a thing people stop talking about, is a thing that haunts and holds and freezes. Southside, we outside. Southside, we soft side. It's a small ask, but a certain one. To be held in a hug that doesn't feel like it will ever let you go. A type of embrace that allows you to melt away all ego and armor. Be a vulnerable, human, supple thing. I would be your soft thigh for you to rest your head on. And it would be outside and warm. We would be near the water, glowing in the moonshine. I would caress my fingers along your head and help the thoughts slow down. You would melt into me and I would be so quiet, but we would be saying so much. The last time you found me, I was up too early and it was morning dark, but there were stars to wander under, and you know how I am. You know how I like to be with things sparkling in the darkness. How I like to listen to the darkness and what it says. You told me I wouldn't disappear you. I would sweep the dirt pretty for you, sprinkle the earth you walk on with starshine, and I want you to feel that you belong, that you can be soft, that you can be still. Be soft, be still, Minneapolis, dance. All of us dance.
May we be soft. Let's take a moment. I have a song to share with you all this morning. Everyone is ready and come back into the room. Maybe take a deep breath together. Let's switch gears a little bit. I think that softness and fierceness and courage can live side by side, and they have to, right? This is a song that's titled We Get There Together. And some of you may have heard it. It's been around in kind of activist and progressive spaces, especially progressive faith spaces, for a few years. And I got to listen to about 2,000 clergy sing this song in Minneapolis, and it was stunning. So I'd like to share that with you today. This is called We Get There Together. So I'll sing a verse and then have you sing it back, and then we'll go through it maybe once or twice together. Sound good? All right, here's how it goes. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. Perfect. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together, we never get there at all. We get there together, we never get there at all. Okay, let's try it. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together, we never get there at all. It's great, one more time. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together, we never get there at all. Perfect, thank you. Good job. So I have something to share with you this morning that I wanted to open with. And before we watch this clip, I want to offer a little bit of context about what we're going to be seeing. So this is a very old clip. This is a clip from the final scene of the movie The Great Dictator. And in this film, Charlie Chaplin is featured and wrote and did all of the things for this film, right? And in the film, he also plays two characters. So one of the characters is a character named Adenoid Hinkle. And this is a fictional dictator. It's a satirical impersonation of Adolf Hitler, which is why he appears the way he does here, who rules the country of Tomania. Hinkle is loud and obsessed with power and control. And the film uses this exaggeration and humor to expose how authoritarianism relies on spectacle and fear and this demand to be adored, right? The other character that Chaplin plays is a Jewish barber. He's simply known as the barber. This is an ordinary person living under Hinkle's regime, just trying to survive and care for himself and care for family and care for neighbors as repression is increasing. And so in the movie, because the two characters look alike, the story builds towards this moment of mistaken identity. And at the end of the film, the barber is confused for the dictator and gets placed in front of this massive crowd. And he's expected to deliver this speech of domination. And as we will see, he does something very different. And what's especially important is the historical moment in which this film was made. The Great Dictator was released in 1940. And this was before the United States had entered World War II, before the full scope of atrocities were known in Germany. In fact, Chaplin had said, had he known, he would not have made quite so light of this. But he was trying to call attention to something in a time in which many people were urging caution or neutrality or silence. And so making this film was not a safe choice. Chaplin risked and experienced public backlash, political condemnation, and professional consequences by naming this danger before it had been broadly acknowledged. And so in this final scene that we're going to watch, this sort of satire kind of falls away. The barber speaks, and Chaplin speaks for the first time in this film because he believed the moment demanded it. And he offers this plea for compassion and shared humanity when the world was still deciding whether it would confront what would happen. And that courage is part of why this clip still matters and is really impactful. It reminds us that choosing conscience and care often happens before danger is fully visible to everyone, right? And before history confirms what we already know. So let's watch this together. It's interspersed with some modern pieces, but it's a fantastic piece. Let's check it out.
But I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world, there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
It's powerful. So, when Chaplin made this film, he did not know how history would judge him. He didn't know whether people would listen or turn away. He didn't know whether speaking would protect him or make him a target, and he did face professional repercussions for this film. And still, what he knew was this, that silence had become participation, that speech is not policy, it's moral interruption, or can function that way. And moral interruptions almost always arrive too early for the comfort of a lot of people, right? Before certainty, before consensus, before the safety of hindsight. I came back from Minneapolis with some similar truths sitting in my chest, because what I witnessed there was a moral interruption. And it was also infrastructure. It wasn't a single bad moment. It wasn't a lone tragedy. There weren't isolated incidents. It was a machine. It was a system. It was a practiced logic moving through neighborhoods the way weather might move through a valley. It changed the air, it changed behavior, and it changed what people believed was possible. While I was there, I spent some time in the International Corridor doing patrols with a group of clergy so we could witness what was actually happening. And in this corridor, there were blocks of migrant-owned businesses, restaurants, grocery stores, childcare centers, little places that don't make the news, right, but that keep the city going. And there were flags hanging from different countries down the street, right? There was the Jamaican flag, the Venezuelan flag, Ukraine, Somalia, Dominican Republic, and so many more. And so there was this irony, right, of this having been a place that was honored for its diversity and that was now being targeted. Many of these storefronts were closed, and not because business was slow, not because of the weather, although it was freezing. They were closed deliberately with signs taped to windows that read mostly in Spanish, "Closed due to security risks." Security risks. Fear had reorganized daily life there. Parents were changing school drop-off routines. Workers were questioning whether it was safe to commute. People were deciding whether to risk running errands. Elders were staying inside because they didn't want, not because they didn't want to be seen, but because being seen can become a liability when a system is hunting for bodies. And in the process and in the middle of this space, something happened. Our group witnessed truly in under 60 seconds. We saw the cars first, right? And then there were around a dozen agents that ambushed a pregnant woman who was walking down the sidewalk. There were no sirens, there was no warning, there was no time for anyone's nervous system to really catch up. And this time, she was not taken, but others were and have been. And the violence here isn't what you can always photograph. It doesn't always show up. It's the speed. It's the way that people are being disappeared. The way a human life can become a logistical problem that gets moved out of sight. And this is how the machine works. It surrounds, it restrains, and it moves. In minutes, people are encircled, they're controlled, walking to get groceries, waiting for a bus on the way to work, school, and church. They are captured and disappeared. Within hours, they can be transported, often across state lines. This was the reason for the airport protest, which I participated in. Signature Airlines is the airport that operates, and that airport is the last stop for people who are disappeared into detention centers. Families can't reach them, phones go unanswered, names vanish from databases. Children might go home and someone isn't there anymore. And so I recognize this system, right, from my life experiences. I know what the inside of those systems look like when they are at least constrained by law a little bit. And I know the language of process. I know these scripts of compliance. I know the way violence can hide behind paperwork and procedure, how harm can be made to look like simple administration. And I need to name this. What I witnessed in Minneapolis was the conclusion of this machine that's been operating for some time, designed to move bodies faster than relationships can respond. It was efficiency, and efficiency is often what brutality looks like when it puts on a uniform. And what's terrifying is not only what happens when people are taken, it's what happens in the hours after, because it doesn't just seize a body, it disrupts a whole web. A person disappears and suddenly a child care plan collapses, a work shift goes uncovered, a medication schedule gets interrupted, a rent payment becomes impossible because a family is thrown into a space of improvisation. And that is the point. Disappearance does not only punish the individual, it destabilizes the whole community. And here's what I want you to hear also. This machine relies on isolation and it relies on speed. But what I also saw in Minneapolis is that communities have learned how to slow this machine down. Not by matching the violence, but by thickening the web around one another so that no one is alone long enough to vanish without witness, generally. People didn't stop caring. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for clarity. They didn't wait for official leadership. They coordinated. Encrypted message threads already existed. Neighbors watched from windows and stoops and storefronts to reduce harm, to care for one another. Someone noticed vehicles, someone else confirmed, someone notified families, plans shifted in real time. Children were walked to school together because there was strategy. Shops closed early because owners refused to offer their workers up to this machine as collateral. People opened their doors, offering bathrooms and water, a safe place to wait, a charger, a quiet corner for someone to stand and catch their breath. And so the clergy call that I attended wasn't about us swooping in as faith leaders. We were called in to witness and participate in something that was already alive. Organizers and parents and elders and street medics, translators, aunties, cousins, neighbors, people who have been practicing community care long before the news cameras turned on. This was practice because Minneapolis has been doing it for a lot of years, way back to George Floyd, way back, probably before that. And so there wasn't any debate about whether someone deserved help, no hesitation about whether this is political or this is the right thing, no moral sorting, just who needs what, who is missing, who hasn't been checked on yet. And the contrast between this disappearance and violence and brutal and cold machinery and this web of community care was so stark, and that's what I left with. That's what moved me, and that's what I hope to bring back here today, because the road of that does not end in Minneapolis. It stretches out. It stretches north and east and west and south. It stretches into the places where this machine stores people, where it hides them, where it counts them, to all the way down to my home state in Texas, too. In Dilley, Texas, at a detention facility, another colleague, Reverend Aaron Walter, who was also at the Minneapolis response, marched with other clergy and supporters to protest the detention of a child taken from Minneapolis while we were there into the system. And this group stood outside the fence, they prayed, and they chanted, and from inside the facility, those chants were answered back. People who had been disappeared hearing, maybe for the first time in who knows how long, that they were not forgotten. There is a line that runs from the sidewalk in Minneapolis to the fence in Dilley, from a quick surround to a long-distance transfer, from a family's frantic calls, from where did they take them, what state are we in, to can we even speak to them. And the only thing that runs along that alongside that line that's strong enough to keep people human is care. And that line stretches everywhere. It stretches here. Which brings me to a hard truth that political language is really trying hard to scramble for people. Care in communities is so often provided by people that we're being told as a collective to distrust. We all know that undocumented migrants get portrayed as villains. We hear words like invasion, criminal, illegals, threats. And the language is designed to make care feel suspicious, to make us forget who's holding the world together, right? And yet we have undocumented migrants caring for children in daycare centers. They care for elders in nursing homes, bathing, feeding, lifting, sitting with someone whose body needs support. They process food, clean hospitals, run business, harvest crops, cook meals. They are doing intimate, ordinary, holy work and holding this human vulnerability while being told that they do not belong. It's not incidental, it's structural. We have built this economy that depends on migrant labor and migrant care, and then the powers that be preach distrust of the very people whose hands are on the pulse of our collective survival. And if that sounds familiar, it's because it's not new, right? Like, we've used this villainization and exclusion to justify fear and inaction as long as there have been humans. And we have also practiced the care that we need to keep one another grounded and to keep one another safe. And so I want to bring up a story that we all know as told by Jewish communities in the early centuries. This is the Good Samaritan. I know we all heard it in Sunday school. And we tend to tell this as a generic lesson, right? Be kind to everyone, help strangers, stuff like that. And that's not what's going down in this parable. That's not what's happening. So just for a little bit of context, in the Gospel of Luke, Jesus is speaking to a Jewish audience. And when he says Samaritan, he is not naming a neutral outsider. He is naming someone that the listeners at that time have been culturally trained to distrust. So Samaritans were seen as religiously impure, they were socially suspect, they were just wrong, right? And there was this long and bitter conflict. So saying Samaritan in that context is not like saying a nice person. It's like saying someone you've been warned about. And so in Luke, we hear Jesus put that person at the center of this story. So a man is traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. It's a dangerous road. He's attacked, he's beaten, he's stripped, he's left half dead. And then an insider comes by, a priest, sees him, passes by. Then another insider, a Levite, sees him, passes by. And in the Gospel of Luke, we don't get an explanation for their motives. We don't get an easy villain. We just see what a world looks like when status and caution overrise compassion. And then the Samaritan comes, the distrusted one, and he stops. He binds wounds competently. He uses supplies practically. He lifts the man, risking himself. He takes him to safety, sustained involvement. He pays for care, material commitment. He promises to return, ongoing responsibility. Let me say that again. Self-risk, sustained involvement, material commitment, ongoing responsibility. This is not just a simple moment of kindness. This is a practice of care. And then, as we know, Jesus asks this question that shifts everything. Not who is my neighbor, but which one acted as a neighbor? And they have to answer the Samaritan, right? The one that the listeners did not expect, the one that they were taught to distrust. And then Jesus says, go and do likewise. And so, shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about the political scientist Erica Chenoweth, who has spent years studying how authoritarian regimes have actually been resisted and undone, not just in theory, but in practice across history. And what her research shows is that nonviolence works, and it works when it's participatory and when it targets what she calls these pillars of power. And so what that means for us is that we are going to have to align with people with whom we might disagree. Regimes don't fall because they are overpowered. They fall when those pillars begin to fracture, when loyalty shifts, when consent is withdrawn, and when people refuse to keep that machine running. Some of those people may be located inside it. And there is a moral injury that comes from participating in this kind of violence. I'm not saying that to dismiss the harm that is being done. I'm saying that these systems harm everyone who participates in them. And so faith-rooted organizing is uniquely equipped because we know how to feed people. We know how to sit with grief. We know how to share burdens. We know how to hold people over time. We are uniquely equipped as faith communities to interrupt these pillars of power. And Chenoweth's research confirms what we know, right? That lasting change grows out of communities that know how to practice this care. And we know, as you use, how to create spaces where the fearful can breathe. We know how to make participation possible for people who can't be out every night, right? Who are caring for elders, who are caring for one another, who are working 2 jobs, who are new to activism, and who are simply tired. We have to sustain ourselves in that way. Faith-rooted organizing is how we widen the circle, not by demanding that everyone do anything, but by building a culture where everyone can do something, and no one has to do it alone. And so Minneapolis showed me this. Dilly echoed it back, and I see seeds of resistance and care in every community, including this one. So here's the question for us today. How do we continue these practices of care? What does it look like to care for one another where disappearance becomes harder? Because that monster is here too. And it wears a lot of different masks, right? What would it mean for us to build so thick a relationship that when this political language that's going to inevitably come tries to isolate and tries to vilify, we are already practiced at solidarity? What would it mean to refuse the lie that the folks are being told to distrust, that they're the danger, right? And how do we prepare, not just react? Because that's what I saw the most of. It was like this muscle memory was activated, and it was phenomenal. So what does that look like, to prepare and not react? Practicing mutual aid, knowing our neighbors, building networks with other congregations and community groups, committing to accompaniment as a discipline to make our building, our resources, our time, our relationships available as a part of our shared survival. Because we know this machine thrives on exhaustion. It thrives on our isolation. It thrives on the story that says this is too big and you are too small and nothing you do will matter. Chaplain refused this story at the microphone. The Samaritan refused it on the road. And the communities in Minneapolis refused it by showing up for each other before the crisis, and then again during it, and then again after. And here, I want us to refuse that story too. I reject the logic that tells us this is normal. I reject the story that asks us to accept disappearance as policy and cruelty as order. Faith at its core is a refusal to confuse what is common with what is right. Faith at its best tells the truth plainly, especially when the truth is costly. Let's take a breath together. Let's let this settle into our bodies. Let's let this settle into our commitments. Let's let community settle into how we move through the world together. Clarity is what makes love possible. From Minneapolis to Dilley and Roseburg and beyond, from daycare centers to detention fences, from the people vilified in speeches to the people holding children and elders and food and life, there is one road, and we are all on it. The question is not whether we will have feelings about it. The question is whether we will stop to care, whether we will stay, whether we will build, whether we will let the people we're told to distrust, whether we show them what neighbor love really looks like. May we go and do likewise. May it be so, and may we be the ones who make it so. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about Minneapolis, any comments you have. Let's take some time for community sharing. Happy to talk a little bit more about the experiences or anything else. Let's have a conversation together all. Thank you for being here today. Thank you. And if there are no words right now, that is totally fine. That looks like Tracy has her hand up.
Well, at the very simplest level, we were very glad to know you were there.
Thank you.
That shows us showing up is important.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And generally speaking, something good worked.
It did.
We need to know how to do that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure to be there with so many people who responded. We filled Westminster Presbyterian Church in downtown Minneapolis, which has a capacity of 2,000. UUs, United Church of Christ, Zen priests, and that was just one group that was organized. There were several others. Yeah, stunning.
Something you said that really stuck with me, and that was they were acting through muscle memory. And that means it had to have already been established.
Absolutely.
And I thought, what a call to us to just look around this room and say, are there those that need support? Are there those that are feeling like they have already been disappeared because society doesn't recognize them?
Absolutely.
Society doesn't give them power.
Absolutely.
And so we start doing that right here in this room.
Absolutely.
We start looking for those to support and surround. And then when it becomes those that are already spotted in Myrtle Creek, starting to look for people to surround, we will already have it active within ourselves, and that muscle memory will start reacting. So thank you so much for that reminder to begin acting with it now.
Amen to that. That's where it starts, and that's why it was so successful. Why We Witnessed was so successful where maybe it hasn't been in other places, because it was built on networks of community care that existed long before the moment it was needed, and we build that every day. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks again, Eli, for going. It was really inspiring for all of us, I think, and I was really proud of this congregation to have somebody there.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Thank you.
Following the monks that are making their journey. I just want to encourage everybody. I'm sure you all are watching, but it's just very encouraging to see them every day for me. And I saw the people in Minneapolis singing to where the ICE agents were, living maybe, and inviting them to come over to our side and leave their side behind. I thought that was a beautiful moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we've been encountering, more and more resistance on the streets here in Roseburg, and more hate, and so we're going to have to learn to build our muscle memory and get more support. But it's encouraged that we can meet that with that kind of energy, that sort of come to our side. Think about joining us. Put down your guns. So hopefully we can do that and encourage everybody to come out. I'm going to try to make announcements when I know an action's coming up for you all but it's on the Indivisible website, of course, as well. But and March 28th is the next date for the Big No Kings event. So mark your calendars.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, Tracy. And yeah, I saw that moment too that you were talking about. If you all haven't seen it, they're standing outside the hotels where ICE agents were staying, and they were singing to them. And some of them had signs. So for me, it was really powerful because it was a recognition that that system is harming them too, right? You can't participate in that without suffering a moral injury, without that doing something to you, to your spirit, right?
Sometimes it takes great diligence to help people who may see themselves as different than you. I mean, Charles speaks Spanish. He lived there in Mexico for 18 years. And we were in Idaho, which has a big Hispanic population. And he and I volunteered with an organization that helped people fill out forms. And they don't know who they can trust. They don't know who's infiltrated. So it takes courage to keep trying to help. Like, we live right down the street from a Mexican restaurant. We'd be happy to help them learn English. But they don't know who we are. And will we turn them in if they're not legal?
Right.
So like I said, it sometimes takes great diligence to help.
It takes relationship. Yeah, for sure. We have to have that existing relationship with people and let them guide us on what they need and let the people that are closest to lead the way and we can be supporters, right? Like we can lift that up, we can do this. There's a place for everyone in the resistance, right? It doesn't matter from big things to small things, getting groceries, checking in on someone, and making a post. Hey, I saw ICE agents out in Myrtle Creek. You know, there's a place in all of us for all of this. So yeah, thank you. Looks like that's it. Well, we have a closing song, and this is a great one. This is Angela's gonna grab some instruments if you all would like to play along with this. This is a fun song. It's by Resistance Revival Chorus. It's a female and femme and non-binary chorus group. They've done covers of a lot of great protest songs. This one is called Rich Man's House. I was hoping to play it live for you, but we're gonna do our best and sing along with it. So it goes, I went down to the rich man's house and I took back what he stole from me. Took back my dignity. Took back my humanity. And then it continues on. So you all get it. So sing along as you want to. Jake, have you got that pulled up? Good deal.
Well, I went down to the rich man's house and I took back what he stole from me. Took it back. Took back my dignity. Took it back. Took back my humanity. Well, I went down to the rich man's house and I took back what he stole from me. Took it back. Took back my dignity. Oh, took it back. Took back my
Thank you all for that. Let's close us out with Go Lift It Up. You can just leave your percussion stuff there. We'll pick it up in a second.